On October 17th, 2025, we saw a silver price slash that may have been far worse. What transpired with silver that day was more complex than it first appears. Along the way, I'll share what I've learned from this video. Yes, Friday's pricing of silver was a complete and utter disaster. There is absolutely no sugarcoating on it. Shocking decline. When we re-examined the data, we saw that the price dropped $3.95 between the peak and low points. A first of its kind. That is completely new to me. The fact that silver is still selling for more than 50 Oz is obvious. A good triumph, of course. Indeed, despite yesterday's events, silver was still down more than 4%, albeit a 6% decline. Although silver prices fell precipitously in just one day, they did manage to find support at $50.57, which is still significantly higher than $50 and highly desirable. I believe we can claim success based on that, as silver has maintained its position above that price, a highly significant psychological level. However, by day's end, silver was trading at about $52 per ounce. When the markets open on Sunday night, that will be what we can anticipate. Keep watching to find out what happens with silver on Sunday night, because our station is the only one that does it. I found out some fascinating things about the rationale behind the precipitous decline in silver prices. What I've learned today has completely changed my outlook on the current bull run in silver prices and makes me believe that they should have fallen much lower. I should probably bring up our channel sponsor, Summit Metals, before we get into that. They are worth looking into if you are in the market to purchase or sell silver or gold. Below the description, you will find the link. Feel the speed of their shipment, the improvement and expansion of their range, and the kindness of their customer service. In light of yesterday's events, I had previously indicated that this might signal the start of the rally's conclusion for silver, or the bull run. Naturally, that is all conjecture from my side. It may simply be an inconvenience. To be sure, this is a major setback. At the end of the day, there was a huge 4% decline. A worst-case scenario of 6% is enormous, and that might be discouraging. Whatever the case may be, I am now more certain than ever that this is far from over, and that other factors are at work thanks to what I learned from what someone put on X. Why? Because they basically gave it their all. According to the dude on X, 977 million phony ounces of silver were traded on Friday in an effort to push prices down a couple of dollars in fiat currency. While LBMA had 775 deliveries, the COMEX had 308. So it's the equivalent of selling all of the world's mining supplies in a single day in order to slash the price $2. The game, he claims, will soon be over. So, to rephrase, that was an admirable endeavor. Actually, it exceeded the mining supply. In 2024, the world's total global mining output was about 180 metric tons, or 837 million ounces. Trades in this posting yesterday totaled more over 900 million ounces. Wow, this is really cool. This occurred at the same time as a 6% decline to little over $50 per ounce, surpassing yearly global mine production of 944 million ounces versus just 1,083 actual deliveries. Taking into consideration the figures and the events that have transpired, this is an enormous step forward. The amount of silver that changed hands in a single day is unprecedented. It leaves you with questions. He seems to be assuming here that it involves repression or manipulation. Yes, it's possible to a certain degree. Still, I think some profit-taking occurred. A few of the dynamics are different now. Therefore, it's reasonable to assume that the large bullion banks were adding to it throughout some of the sell-offs. Because of this, there has been such a tremendous amount of activity in just one day. This paper's emphasis on physical imbalance is reinforced by the fact that we have witnessed volumes of futures approaching 180,000 contracts and deliveries of 308 in October. The manipulation discussions come up when you look at that. The term manipulation can be used quite loosely in this context because someone owns the contracts involving the movement of silver by large bullion banks. Money is being invested there. Also, these large bullion banks could be involved. However, those are the work of individuals. Silver futures, contracts, exchange-traded funds, and similar products are available to traders like us. That, in my opinion, is the situation at hand. The assertions now are in line with the discussion surrounding the suppression of the futures market. Additionally, the ZFTC data showed that JP Morgan was fined $920 million for spoofing. In addition, neither 2025 nor the years preceding it saw any fresh enforcement proceedings following that decision. Is the event ongoing? I am uncertain. It seems like a lot of work to move that much silver for such a tiny return, doesn't it? You could imagine they wouldn't have much more to do if they had more than the annual silver mined shift in one day, and less than one day, and to the negative. That is, selling, short selling. A few more days will be similar to this. Assuming the current trend continues for the next 3 days, the price of silver will still be battling. The fact that it managed to rally on Friday is what caused the decline to be 4% rather than 6% at day's conclusion. But this does tell us something, folks. There may be an underlying suppressive drive in the market as well as a natural market force. Prior to Friday's market closure, the natural market had returned, and investors were considering opportunity purchases. But I'll tell you what, this both enlightens and surprises me, because the volume validated informs us that the silver market is holding its own over $50 Oz, as least as of Friday. The markets open on Sunday night, and this channel will be covering the action. It should be a fascinating event. Upon its opening in Asia, I hope you will be there to examine the markets with me. This is still a pretty intriguing finding, though. I also don't see how they could sustainably do this over and over again in an effort to maintain the price below $50 Oz. Perhaps they could. We can rule it out. You all need to know that this was a major step in every possible manner. This leads me to believe that the silver bull run and rally is resilient, and that we may be able to recoup some of these losses as soon as the markets open. Additionally, I anticipate that next week, at the very least, it will likely remain in the vicinity of $52 to $53 per ounce. I still don't see it dropping below $50 before next week's conclusion, though. That's simply how I feel. In spite of the fact that the present upswing may fade and retreat due to certain events at LVMA and silver, moving to vaults there via aircraft and other regions as well, some of those items might still loosen up a bit. However, I believe there is more to come before silver can sustain these numbers in the near future. That is to say, in the end, the setback might not be that severe. Regarding this, though, we have no idea. The future is completely unpredictable. I think we're entering a new period for silver and looking forward to what's on the other side of this, so I'm feeling quite happy about it overall. Backwardation persists. Silver is very scarce in London. More people are purchasing during this slump, though, so there's a lot going on with that as well. Not only will local coin shops all across the country and the world start buying more coins, but internet dealers like Summit Metals, a channel sponsor, will also start buying more coins. We are witnessing that very thing. I addressed that in a video earlier today. Furthermore, I anticipate that this will become an increasingly common occurrence. People will be buying physical and selling less in an effort to profit from the dip. This is because selling in this market isn't as lucrative as it would be in a normal market, since you're getting much less back for your investment. Even if you end up having to sell, you could still make money off of that. However, in my opinion, it is not wise to sell and incur a loss of any greater magnitude than that. There are coin stores that are paying far less than the current spot price. From what I've heard, it can go all the way back to as high as 12% in certain instances. And with that, I leave you. Tell me what you think about this new turn of events. Curious, I must say. I don't think the price drops that occur in the next few days will be as significant as the ones that occurred on Friday, regardless of what happens. I believe that buyers will be able to take advantage of these dips to prevent a big multi-day collapse, even though this smackdown at the end of the day helped to mitigate the one-day fall. That may even carry over into the following week. In the space provided below, please share your opinions with me. It is my sincere wish that you have derived something useful and instructive from this video. The time you've taken to watch this is greatly appreciated, and I ask that you do the following: subscribe, like, share, and rate the video.